Hi everyone, this is Drea with Journey Mind, Body, Spirit, and I'm gonna have you guys along with me for at least part of this potato harvest. I'm not really sure how big these buckets are. They're not as big as the 18-gallon storage buckets, but they're almost as big, so I want to say they're about 15 gallons. I'll check one of my other labels because I think the labels are off of these. See if it says the size, but we'll just say about 15 gallons for now. So what I'm going to do is I have a bucket here on the side, and I'm going to use one bucket to put the soil in, and one to kind of put the potatoes. And so what I have here is a couple storage pots and then a storage container right next to it. So you see all these dead pieces, those are signs that your potatoes are ready. I have still been watering these, but just not as intense as I was. And this is the only one that's still green, but still has a lot of brown on it. So I can let it go for longer if I wanted to, but I'm going to go ahead and just pull it because I want to use these containers in a different area and start using potatoes in the storage bins instead. So I kind of already seen these little potatoes here on the top coming out. I'm not sure if you guys can see that little green hue. You don't supposed to eat the potatoes that are green, but they're fine to replant. These ones are really tiny, but I'll probably still will just replant them, but for now I'm just gonna put them in the bucket. And the green and the brown stems are gonna go back in the reclaimed soil. This top of wood chips I'm going to take off though. So basically I'm going to reclaim the soil to grow more potatoes. I'm not going to take all of the wood chips off, but just some of them, because some of them are not very broken down. Some of my wood chip piles have gotten pretty broken down to where I basically could grow in them. Ooh, I just scratched one. This one's a little green too. It's tiny. And this is off the one that was still alive. So some of the potatoes are probably not done. And the seed potatoes I used for this one was super big. So now this is a different method than I did before, kind of dumping them over, which is very easy, but I don't have my wheelbarrow anymore. It actually is my aunt's wheelbarrow that I was borrowing, and this is a really big bucket, and I just put some water in it. So it's going to be too heavy to dump over. So I'm just going to kind of just digging through the top. I found that some of my other buckets, there were more potatoes that seemed to be on the top area anyway. So there's another one. So far, so good. I don't know if I'm going to get any of the big ones that were like the seeds. And I probably would if I left these for longer. So a lot of potatoes over here coming to the top. They were super tiny. So those ones you can choose to replant them or compost them when they're a little tiny. When they're tiny like that, I just wash them up very good and use them in soups or something. Well, I gotta be more careful because look, I've got handfuls and little bitty things are popping out. Oh, here's Here's one off of the ready one. And look, the ready one, you didn't even have to really pull it off of the vine. It kind of separated itself already. And these were like kind of like a Yukon type potato. There's probably the biggest one I got so far. Soil feels nice and warm too. Probably gonna do both of these. Alright, I'm gonna pause for a second. Ooh, I think I might have ran into, yeah, one of the seeds. It's all mushy. Feels gross. Alright, I'm gonna pause first for a while and come back in a second when I got at least most of this particular bucket done. So this is what I got out that first bucket. Barely anything. But I may have gotten more if I had waited until all of them died. But so far, I'm not liking the outcome with growing potatoes that are not like the purple or the pink potatoes. And we'll see, because I did start a sweet potato indoors. Sorry about that, you guys. And I'll do a video and show how I did that. So again, I'm just taking these wood chips off because they're pretty chunky. And it's not really that I'm worried about the soil with these, but I just don't want to be digging and get poked by big old pieces of wood. So I did find that I didn't really find any underneath. Ooh-wee. This one might be better. Someone else? No problem. Look at this. Way bigger. So it was basically the same size potatoes. Someone was asking me about, they were looking for somebody, I guess. Oh, and this one's bigger than all of the ones in that container too. And these were right next to each other, so they got the same, basically the same amount of water, same amount of sun. But apparently this one did a little bit better. There's mostly like really tiny, tiny ones in the other one. That's as big as the biggest one in the other bucket. So this might not be a complete waste of time. I did just, however, buy a bag of potatoes at the grocery store. And these are the little strings I was talking about. Usually when the things died back you don't really have to pull them off like that. But this one's green still. Some people just pull them out like that with the potatoes, but that's not working on the pots. It probably really, or they use a pitchfork underneath of growing in ground. So this is one of the seed potatoes. I'm sorry if I keep on not focusing you guys on what I'm doing. So that one, I don't know if I'm going to keep it in there because I don't want it to sprout more. So let's take it out. Well, let's see. I don't want to make this video super long, so let me go ahead and pause again, and we'll see how much we get out of this particular bed. Real quick, so I'm about halfway down, and I still have not found any more potatoes. And then I got this patch here in the middle that feels pretty dry when the others are not. So when I get closer down, I'll show you the bottom part too. So I'm here close to the bottom, and you can see this is like a smushed potato. So usually the seed potatoes do get rotten, like I showed you, but these are different, and I think it's because of the way that I grew these, because I kind of put them in different levels. So it seems like the reason I'm finding all my potatoes on the top is because I'm doing that, and the only ones that are actually able to not rot in the ground are the ones that are on the top. So on this one, I'm doing different, where I'm not putting the soil on until they already start sprouting, and I'm not going to add any more potatoes, just kind of add soil so they can grow potatoes all the way up. So that may be the problem, but hey, I'm going to learn from this, and hopefully you guys can learn from this and not make the same mistake that I'm doing. So I don't think I'm going to find any more potatoes, but I'm going to try anyway. So wait until this is empty, and then we'll finish up this video. Okay, so I didn't find any more. So this is what I got from the first bucket, and this is what I got from the second bucket. And this little pile over there is a bunch of the rotten potatoes that I pulled out that are kind of like soil, but I'm not going to put them in with everything. Oh my gosh. And there's like tons of ants were in there too. I wonder why, because there was potatoes rotting. They probably made a little ant farm in the bottom there. Because I was having so I did have some problems, or not problems, but when I was getting to the bottom, I was finding these dry areas, and they were warm. And I guess it's because the potatoes were decomposing. So this is what I got, and there's a what not to do video, I guess. When you're doing bucket potatoes, you don't want to bury your potato too deep. You want to wait until after it's sprouting, and then keep burying it. I don't know for sure, so don't mark my words on this, because that's something I'm going to try out. But I do know that you don't want to bury them too deep. So it looks like if you want to do bucket potatoes, it's probably going to be better to have wideness than depth, is what it's looking like to me. But we'll see when we get these containers going. So in a few months, I'll let you know how this method works. I'm pretty sure it's going to work with basically putting the potatoes in the bottom and then putting a little soil on at a time as the sprouts come up. So that way you know that the sprouts are able to get up and get the sun and not stay down there and rot because they're not able to get through all of the soil. And I don't know, I might use some of these big ones and try to grow some more potatoes from the white potatoes, but I may not. I'm probably just going to eat these. And this is actually the biggest potato that I've gotten altogether, I'm pretty sure. I may have gotten a purple potato around that size, but anyways, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and the bell so you get alerts every time I load a new video. And if you have any questions, leave it in the comments section, or if you have any other advice, and let people know what kind of stuff you do that works very well with your potatoes. and let me know. Also, a good thing to put in the comments, I'm thinking about doing a container potato challenge. Let me know if you guys are up for that. That would be a cool thing to do. All right. Have a blessed day.